Hey everybody. So of course as soon as I come out here it's starting to sprinkle a little bit, so hopefully I can get through this video before any major moisture comes down, because I don't want to get the camera wet. But I came out here to try to get in between the rains. We've had some really heavy downpours the last couple of days, and I need to get out here to the grapes. If you saw the original grape project where I got all the grapes strung up here, and the grapes did fairly well. They were really attacked a lot by Japanese beetles this year. We have a lot of leaves that are just eaten away down to nothing really. But a lot of new leaves have come back on, and we've got a lot of little bunches of grapes on here. And another thing that we did to kind of help protect at least the bunches of grapes from like birds and whatnot, we took tulle, and Mitzi sewed all these little bags that we then put around the tulle, and I'll show you that here, or put around the grapes, these little tulle bags, to help protect them from birds eating all of our harvest. So this is the first year that we've really, well, it's our second year growing grapes, but this is the first year that we actually got any grapes. Last year we planted them and it was just some vines that were pretty small, but now this year we had some grapes come in. These are wine grapes. They're, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly, but they're Frontenac wine grapes, which is a red grape. And we are going to try to maybe make some wine out of them depending on what comes out of this harvest. But for now, I think a lot of them are ready, and what I want to do is get a lot of them clipped and cut off, and then taken in, and then we will put them in the freezer for now until we can figure out what we're doing for making the wine. So let's get at this before the next batch of rain comes through. Like I said, we've already had 2 days of heavy downpours. We had a little bit of rain this morning, got a little bit of a break this afternoon, and enough for me to mow the lawn. But there's more rain coming tomorrow, and we just have had so much stuff going on. This doesn't really have anything to do with the grapes, but our dog Abby, our older Cavalier King Charles, on Saturday night right before bed had a stroke. And we really thought that we were going to lose her. We took her to the emergency vet on Saturday night, and it was kind of touch and go for about 48 hours. But then on Monday morning, she actually was up and able to walk some, although she has some issues with walking. She's very wobbly and unstable a lot of the time. On Monday, we took her to a veterinary neurologist who was just awesome. And he put our mind at ease with a lot of things, but she still has a long road to recovery. And so we're spending a lot of time, helping her and making sure she's not falling off of things or falling over. And so a lot of the things in the garden have been put on hold. I've got a ton of harvesting out here to do, and I'm sure I've probably already lost some things. But right now Mitzi's inside, keeping an eye on her and making sure she's okay. And I came out to see if I can't get some grapes. So it's been a rough few days, but it seems like things are getting better. So I'm hoping that we have a lot more years with her. She is my baby girl, and it was really hard the last couple days for me. I've had a few breakdowns. So I'm happy that now, at least the last day and a half, she has been home sitting on the couch with me or in my chair snoring next to me like she always does. She's just very wobbly. Anyway, back to the grapes. Sorry. Just wanted to share that because it's been on my mind a lot recently. So let's clip some grapes. I'll show you the tulle bags on what we did to protect them, and we'll see what we have going on here. So right here, we've got a tulle bag. Looks like some flies got in there, and some of these grapes have already started to, can't see myself on the camera. So we got some flies in these bags, and some of the grapes have already started to look like they've gotten a little rotten, probably from the rain, but there's a lot of good ones still in here. But anyway, we put these bags on here to keep the birds off. And it took Mitzi quite a while to get all these bags. I think she probably made about 40 bags, and we still didn't even cover all the grapes that were out here. But let's see what's going on with our little bunch of grapes here. And these aren't huge, probably because these are only the second year. But got a little bunch. I'm gonna try one of these and see what we're dealing with. Oh, one just fell off. Some of these are falling off. I can't see myself on the camera very well, so I'm sorry if I look kind of goofy. Yeah, these are pretty sweet. A lot of seeds in them. But yeah, these are definitely ready. I think if I left them on here any longer, we'd get more rot going on. So I want to save as many as I can. So I'm going to clip these off. And then we will save these bags for next year. These could be used over and over again. And I got this little bunch of grapes here. Like I said, these are pretty small, but I'm hoping once we get a bunch of them, we'll have enough to maybe make a small batch of wine. Or at the very least, we can put them in the freezer and save them for later. So I'm gonna cut some more. I've got some other bunches back in here, and more down in here, and they're all through here. So I'm gonna cut these and then we'll come back. Okay, so we do have a decent sized bowl of grapes here. There were a lot of bad ones in there. Really, these probably should have been picked a week ago, I think. So we've lost some. Also, there were probably 4 or 5 of the tool bags that it looked like either they came loose or a bird had gotten in there and pecked holes in it and had pretty much decimated most of the grapes that were in there. So now the next step is I'm going to go through and clean out any of the bad ones, as well as any of the bugs, do an initial spray off before I take them inside. There's actually an earwig in here that was in one of the bags that fell out when I was putting them in this bowl. It is the biggest earwig I've ever seen in my entire life. So he's been living high on the hog in that grape bag. So I'm going to go get these cleaned up. And then once I get them pulled off of here and transferred to a new bowl and washed off, I'm going to weigh them and see, you know, how much we ended up with on our first little wine grape harvest. And whatever's left, we'll put in the freezer for now until we are ready to make some wine. I don't think that this is going to make a whole lot of wine. I think you need a lot more. I have not made wine before. This is our first foray into growing wine grapes and making wine. While I have brewed a lot of beer in the past, wine is a new thing for me for making. So I'm not sure, you know, the amount of pounds that you need to make wine. So I got to do some research on that. But I'm thinking that this probably won't be enough to make very much at all. So we might want to just, oh, there's that earwig. All right, got rid of him. Yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna see if maybe we need to just freeze these for now and then maybe add these into next year's crop when we're ready to make wine. We'll see how much we have. But I mean, they taste good. They're sweet. So if anything, except for all the dang seeds. If anything, we could just eat them as is, fresh, you know, or, I don't know, make some jelly. But first I get rid of all these bugs and the bad ones. Let's go do that. Okay, so initially I am going to just spray some of these off with the hose, or not some of them, I'm going to spray all of them off with the hose to get any bugs off of them. And we're going to do a couple different rinses with these to get rid of, make sure we get them all cleaned off. Now, of course, you know, we do everything organically, so we don't put any sprays on these, but I just want to make sure that they're clean, remove any of the bad ones, any of the bugs that may have crawled on them. So a lot of the bad ones here in the bowl had already fallen off and float to the top. And so then I can take some of those and just easily scoop them out and get rid of those. Save me a little bit of work. There's still more that have fallen down in, and I'm gonna have to pick through those, but that'll save me a little time. All right, so got those rinsed off and got this bowl rinsed out. Now I'm gonna pick through all these and separate the bad from the good and get all the stems out of there. Okay, so now we got some picking to do. This is gonna be the more tedious part. Start pulling these off and find what's good and what's not. So I'm gonna start working through these and fill in my bowl here, and then once I get them all separated and off the stems, then I will go and do another rinse off in a colander inside, and then dry them off before we put them in a freezer bag. All right, so I'm gonna work through that. We'll check back when I'm done in about 75 hours. Okay, so it's a lot less after you pull off all the stems on them, but really for our first year and the fact that they weren't pruned very well, or they weren't pruned at all, you know, they were pretty small, but you know, I'm happy with the fact that we got any, and protecting them with the bags, because the bunches of them that did not have bags around them are completely gone. The birds got those. But you know, might have a couple pounds here. I have to go inside and weigh them. So next step is taking them inside, doing a final rinse down the colander, patting them dry, weighing them, and then put them in a freezer bag and put them in the freezer for now. So we'll do that next. So just a couple notes about the Frontenac grapes. They are a hybrid grape that were developed by the University of Minnesota. They are supposed to be very cold hardy. And when I remember when I first bought the initial vines for planting, they also tend to be more tolerant against diseases. Missed the bad one. The grapes themselves, the wines that are made out of them, can be anything from rosé to like a dry red wine, really depending on how it's made. And they kind of have the whole notes of like cherry and some of those standard flavors that you would get in a red wine. And they have been around, I think the first hybrid of this particular variety came out around 1996. So they've been around, what, about 24 years now. They do have a high acidity, and one thing I was reading is that winemakers do find them challenging sometimes due to being able to tell the sweetness and sugar levels on them. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe this wasn't the best grape to grow for my first attempt at making wine. Okay, and then a last note on the winemaking is to make about 5 gallons of wine, you need about 85 to 90 pounds of grapes. Not going to cut it. So we may have to find another use for these, or maybe purchase some additional grapes to do a blend, or just put these in the freezer and save them until we get another crop next year that will have proper pruning and a bigger yield. So anyway, that was harvesting our little bit of wine grapes today, and we appreciate that you stopped by and checked it out. Hope you subscribe to our channel. Starting to rain right now, but I am underneath the canopy of the maple tree, so it doesn't get very wet here, so I think the camera is safe right now. Anyway, thanks for stopping by and checking out the video. We hope that you subscribe to our channel and click on the little bell at the top of your screen so that you can also be notified when we have any other content that comes up. And whatever you're doing, whether it's grapes, vegetables, fruits, or any other homesteading projects, I hope that it's all going well in your neck of the woods, at your homestead and in your gardens. And I hope you're having a great day. Namaste.